There's two key findings, and it's about displacement firstly, and about poverty secondly. In terms of the displacement, we've been monitoring displacement since 1996, and our partners have documented over 3,600 villages that have been burnt down or forcibly relocated since that time. But in the past year, we didn't document any villages that have been forcibly displaced. Since 2002, we've been estimating an average of around 75,000 individuals have been displaced each year. And in the past year, that rate has dropped down to about 10,000 people. So, I mean, that's a positive sign. That's a tangible indicator of some kind of benefits from the ceasefire process in terms of displacement in the southeast. The more glum situation is when you look at the longer term impacts and chronic poverty. And we've done household surveys with over 4,000 households across 21 townships, looking at some of the standard poverty indicators that World Food Programme and United Nations development programs and other organisations conduct in other parts of Burma, Myanmar. And we're estimating that around 59% of households in rural areas of southeast Burma, Myanmar are impoverished and unable to meet their daily needs. Well, I think that the question remains, where is it going? But in terms of what's happened so far, we have seen a dramatic decrease in the armed conflict and skirmishes. We've also seen a decrease in roving patrols, counterinsurgency patrols. So that has, by default, enabled villages in upland areas to give them a bit more confidence to go out and to cultivate fields for rice production, shifting cultivation. They haven't had to hide from those patrols out of the fear that they would be targeted as rebel sympathisers, or so-called rebel sympathisers, as members of the armed opposition groups. So there have been some pretty tangible benefits for local communities from the ceasefire process so far. But let's not get too carried away with it in terms of the broader picture, in terms of political progress or in terms of the human rights dividend. I mean, that's still work in progress. I think there's a lot of hope amongst refugee communities in Thailand, a lot of hope, and we've documented, we're estimating around 37,000 IDPs have returned back, and a tentative return to try to look and see whether their villages, the situation has changed significantly enough that they can return and re-establish their livelihoods. So there's hope that these ceasefire agreements are going to be sustainable, are going to lead to more substantive change, and will enable families to re-establish their livelihoods and lives in their home communities, or resettle in nearby areas and surrounding areas. But at the same time, there is a lot of anxiety that people will be pushed into a situation before the conditions are right, before the time is right. And that's part of the whole trust building process. That's part of the whole peace process of transforming ceasefire agreements into a sustainable and substantive peace process.